So yeah. This is the second one that I've done, one for the second. But it makes a bit of sense because I kind of talked about it in yesterday's. About Penelope Garcia and doing season 3, episode 9. That's what we're doing now. Season 3, episode 8. Yeah, I really am doing this in random orders. Besides the point. But, even though it does have connection to episode 9, because it does, there's sort of some things that I've built up in this episode that connect to what I think is Penelope Garcia's throughout the series best episode, because it deals with sort of her sort of solving this thing. Why don't I consider this a second? Because if you might read the title, which I haven't made yet, this is Derek Morgan's. Wait, but I just talked about in the last one how it's connected to season, and then I need to have that. How it's connected to Penelope Garcia. And here's why. Because even though I think this episode does build up 9 really well, because it kind of does, you kind of need to do that to have episode 9 be as good as it is, I think this is better. This crime has to do with a cannibalism and somewhat connected to the church. And I think it's interesting why, with this one, that it has a connection to Derek Morgan, who didn't went to a church. In the other one, you can see why, because he begged for when his situation happened, which you do learn in an early episode. I'm just going to double check which one. Season 2, episode 12, about what happened in his past. And he went to church sort of asking God to stop. And one of the lines I like is, you have this sort of priest saying, God only gives us what we're able to handle. And Derek Morgan says, not in a yell, but in like this really raised tone, it's like, God expects too much for a 12-year-old boy. And because that is connected to that episode and that idea, alongside him being in the interrogation, sorry, I have to tap my screen because the screen's going, I'm turning off, which is not great. Besides the point, it's like, in the interrogation when they reveal the twist of, oh no, he's fed this person to everyone. And it's like, what the fuck? It also then goes into the next episode of like, I also like Spencer Reid, who says, if you don't believe in one, you can't believe in the other. Which is, which Derek Morgan sort of says, not believing in sort of the devil. And Spencer Reid saying, you can't believe in God. You probably won't believe in the devil if you don't believe in God. Which I would like to point out is interesting. It is very much like believe in one, believe in the other. I would like to point out, I do know some people who do believe in God, not the devil. So, but I do get the idea of like, if you believe in one extreme, it's easy to understand the other extreme. But I do find this interesting because it deals with like, him being like, he prayed to God for something to stop, and that gives, sorry again, an interesting reason. And the fact that at the end of this episode, even though Penelope Garcia does get shot, this is the first time, and you even get it in, I am going to sound more important, it's out, season 3, episode 9, but he questions this, it's the first time he goes back to church in a while. And he even questions like, oh, what was these, and it's really interesting. But yeah.